Hey guys, it's your boy D Vallo back with some more boxing. Chris Eubanks Jr. has been shouting at Tony Bellew. They've had a war and a bit of a beef over Twitter, and Eubanks is shouting at Bellew saying that he wants to fight. And then when they were exchanging comments over Twitter, and then I saw an interview on IFL TV, Bellew was basically saying that if Eubanks is stupid if he thinks I'm gonna fight him. Like, he's a middleweight, I'm a heavyweight. I've got heavyweight guys calling me out. You know what I mean? I've got the likes of Wilder and all of these names calling me. Why am I gonna go and fight Eubanks? You know what I mean? And it's also, this was the same sort of thing when Dillian White also shouted out Tony Bellew, saying that, yeah, let's have a fight. And he says, why am I going to fight you on a British level when I've got world title heavyweight fighters shouting me out? If he's got Wilder shouting him out, why is he going to go and fight Dillian White for a British title? You know what I mean? Because Dillian White is on a British level. And it's the same sort of thing with Eubanks. Eubanks would like to say and feel like he is at a world level. And if he did have a big fight and he may get to that level, and I think he has the ability to get to that level, but right now he's not. And until he takes that big fight, he's not going to be classed at world level. Whereas Bellew's in a position where it's like, well, I've done my bits. I'm a WBC world title holder, and I'm also a heavyweight who beat David Haye, who he describes as the most dangerous heavyweight outside the top 5. So once now he's in this big position, I already talked about Tony Bellew before. Man's all in shirt and tie. He's going to different boxing events. He was at the George Linares Anthony Crolla, and he was commentating throughout the whole fight that time. Through the whole cards he was talking, and I respect he has a lot of boxing knowledge, and he's a thinker. And also now he's got the money now, so he's in a good position right now. So when Eubanks is calling him out, he obviously thought it was a joke. But then Eubanks' dad has called up, and Eddie Hearn has contacted him and saying, can we actually make this fight happen? Like, is there any room that this fight could happen? And Eddie Hearn just says no and laughed it off. But he was actually surprised and thinking that they're actually saying this like it could or would even happen. But the thing is that we shouldn't be surprised when Eubanks does stunts like this, because this is Eubanks all over. It's like a PR campaign shouting out. He shouted out everybody, really. Any names you can think of, he shouted out Tony Bellew, he shouted out even Conor McGregor, he shouted out Daniel Jacobs, GGG. He said his bit about everyone. In fact, anyone that is in the limelight, he shouts them out, because Eubanks wants to be in that world. He wants to be in that he wants people to be talking about him when they mention the top 5. And the thing is, on a businessman's level, on a smart thinking level, yeah, that's good, getting your name out there. But you've got to back it with having good fights with decent opponents. Because Bellew, on the other side, you could say he's a good example for someone who's got talk, got trash talk, can do all that kind of thing outside of the ring. But when it comes to in the ring, he has what it takes. You know what I mean? He's a true fighter in the ring, so he can say all he wants because he can actually back it. And in that fight against David Haye threw everything he could have, even though there were slow, terrible punches, and he's past it, he should retire. But, you know, David Haye's saying he still wants to be heavyweight champion of the world. But David Haye's another one who talks his way into fights and keeps himself in the limelight. But anyway, he beat Haye, and everyone thought that Haye was going to destroy him. But he took Haye's shots, and when Bellew hit him, he felt it. I'm pretty sure that when I watched that fight, Haye was feeling them shots. I don't care what he says about his injury or anything like that. He was feeling the shots that Bellew was giving him. It didn't knock him out, but it was hurting him. You know, it did the punishment that Bellew was giving him did lead to the fight being stopped. It wasn't just his injury, but yeah, he was on the ropes and he couldn't get off. Fair enough. But Eubanks is at 147, not 147. Eubanks fought at 168, and in Tony Bellew's last fight, he was like 213 pounds. You know what I mean? So that is a big difference. A middleweight calling out a heavyweight. So that's what tells you it's just Eubanks is going to call out anybody who's in the limelight, and Tony Bellew is very much in the limelight at the moment. So yeah, it's just Eubanks doing what Eubanks does best, calling out people. But until he fights someone proper, then I can't really take him too seriously, because I'm hearing that he's going to schools and he's showing off that IBO belt and all sorts, and it's not cool. I mean, for people that like Eubanks, you know what? I like Eubanks and I like watching him, watching his fights, but going off to schools and showing off that IBO belt, come on, you have the talent to be a world champion, but you got to get there. And talking about talent and his chances of actually getting there, he's been beat. He's been beat by Billy Joe Saunders, and Billy Joe Saunders actually boxed him. But I think having a dad like Chris Eubanks doesn't help, and it in a way, because Chris Eubanks has the intelligence and he knows what the game's like and he wants to get the right money for his son. He has his son's best interest at heart, but he's also just in his character and his personality, he's given that to his son. It's like it's in the blood. So when you're seeing Eubanks all showboating and doing all sorts of things, that's what his dad used to do, you know. So how can he do anything different, you know, when that's all he knows? But that's what ultimately led him to lose that fight, by not using his brain. And he's an athlete and he's got a lot of good work rate, but when he's showboating, he's wasting time. And Billy Joe Saunders is a good fighter and thought to himself, you know, I don't care. This is a fight. I don't care if this is Chris Eubanks' son. I'm gonna fight him just like anybody else. And he outboxed him and won that fight fair and square. So Billy Joe Saunders is saying, you know what? The rematch for that fight will be a big fight, but you know, I mean, I beat him once and I'll beat him again. So it's not really looking good when fighters are saying that they've beaten you and that you're not. They don't even feel like they can beat you again, you know. So it's not really a good look. But if they did have a rematch and Eubanks would be able to beat Billy Joe Saunders, then that would put him back up there, because Billy Joe Saunders holds the WBO belt. Now he's trying to chase GGG at the moment, or GGG's ducking him. That's another story. I made an earlier video about that, about the whole GGG and Billy Joe Saunders thing. It seems like GGG is going to have a break right now. He's not really going to be fighting anyone because he wants to fight Canelo. And I'm not even sure if Billy Joe Saunders, he says he's up for that fight, but I'm pretty sure that he's thinking to himself, well, I could take another fight and be alright. But he's willing to fight him, but he might get knocked out, you know, because GGG, even though he's past it, he's saying he's past it like 35, he's still got it in the tank, I think. So Billy Joe Saunders is a little bit wary of that still. He might wait another year or so before he gets a bit older. But saying that though, so Billy Joe Saunders got that on his plate, and then he says he had the big 4 fights that he had on his hands was the Eubanks thing, but he's beat him. So he's like, yeah, I'd have a rematch with him, but it's like Eubanks, the way he's talking is like, it's not. He shouts at anyone, and these fights are never gonna happen, you know. So this is just what Eubanks does, but I want to see Eubanks fighting a good opponent, but let's just see when that happens. I say when and when because he always talks about things that should happen or could happen, but they don't happen, you know. So it's a when and when situation. When it happens, it will actually happen. It is what it is. Eubanks does what he does. But yeah, Eubanks to fight Bellew. What do you guys think? I was like, even on this, I was looking down on comments because I'm interested in people's opinion, you know, like getting involved with the fans. And I heard people are saying that Eubanks is going to knock out Bellew. He could knock him out. And I thought to myself, nah, come on. Eubanks doesn't have power, but he has work rate. He knocks people out because he hits them repeatedly and he's got good angles. So and even when you see Eubanks getting tired, but he's got a good engine, so he manages to come back again. But Bellew, nah, man. Bellew has power for a cruiserweight and maybe even heavyweight power. He will knock Eubanks out. And maybe Eubanks wouldn't even be able to look as good against Bellew. That's my personal opinion anyway. So this fight is not a good serious choice for Eubanks anyway, but he's not serious anyway. So what do you guys think about this whole thing and Eubanks calling each other out? Do you think it's good for boxing? Do you think it's interesting? What do you think of Eubanks and his chances? But anyway, this is your boy D-Vallo. If you're watching this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. It's your boy D-Vallo, and I'm out.